Hello and welcome. I spent a good chunk of yesterday just pouring through the videos being posted by the Chinese luxury factories. Some of them were boldly claiming that they actually create the bags that the hugely aspirational brands retail in China. Some were claiming they are largely made in China and then finished off in their home country to give the impression they're made in Italy or they're made in France, for example. And the videos were largely in retaliation, I guess, to Trump imposing the really high tariffs on China. And I feel incredibly strongly about China because I don't think the bad reputation, the negativity associated with quality from China is entirely warranted. And I also feel very strongly about luxury. So two topics that I'm really passionate about were being wrangled yesterday. So I was just fixed on the videos, the comments and so forth. And typically when I feel strongly about something, I will comment on threads. And the comment I made, I'm going to include the link in the description box down below. It's had thousands of views and many comments. I think we're sitting at about 70 comments, for example. And I literally dropped it as a cat amongst the pigeons because I just wanted to get an idea of the sentiment. What are people thinking? But I also wanted to be able to have conversations and bring in a slightly alternate viewpoint. And so this video is just my thoughts on what the Chinese factories were saying and what it means for the luxury industry. I'm Anesu Sagonda and I produce educational luxury content for anyone after the finer things. Whether you're young and starting out in life and wanting to reap the benefits of buying better quality from the get-go, or you're into luxury but you want to focus more on high quality, under the radar brands, or you're new to money and wanting to learn how to navigate the terrain, then my content is geared towards you. What the luxury Chinese factories did this weekend was to dramatically jolt the luxury space. And they've literally changed it forever. But what I think is really important is for us as consumers to be mindful of the fact that the Chinese are feeling wounded. Nobody likes to be called a peasant. They are wounded, they're licking their wounds, they're going to retaliate. And they've done it in an incredibly spectacular manner. 10 out of 10 to the Chinese. But some of the claims that were being made are not accurate. I think we need to be mindful of the fact that some of the brands that were bandied about, they belong to some of the dominant luxury groups. Think Louis Vuitton, Moët Hennessy, Kering, Richemont, for example. They will typically own a good chunk, if not all of their factories, their production facilities. And if they don't own them, they have absolutely bulletproof contracts, agreements, non-disclosure agreements in place. Their factories are not going to be able to sneeze and say a thing about those brands at all. It's just not going to be possible. I know, for example, Italy has the grey market and you will get some of the aspirational brands, their bags will leak into the retail space through the back door. That is an issue, I know that. But when it comes to China, I don't believe most of the claims that were being made. What I do believe is that a lot of it, licking wounds, propaganda. A good number of those factories are producing the bags, but they're very similar. They are offering a fairly diverse selection of levels of quality, different levels of quality from low, mid to top end quality, depending on your budget. So they're offering replicas, dupes that are a good copy, that are an okay copy, right up to copies that are absolutely outstanding. They are faultless. They are like for like. I know that is possible. The issue with China and where my interest peaked is that it is a country that started its industrialization process about 40 years ago. And it started on fairly shaky territory. There were issues with counterfeits, low quality, and that marred the foundation. But China, with time, went from crawling to walking, and now their manufacturing industry is literally flying, it's running, it's sprinting. It's doing incredibly well. It has grown. It's a dominant force in the world. They have the capability, the expertise, the machinery, the labor. They're able to reduce costs. They can do all of those absolutely outstanding things, but there's still the negative association when it comes to made in China. I talk in detail about it in the video attached above. Please do take a look, because it's short, it's sharp, and it just gives all the facts about China in the negative press, which is not entirely deserved. The world typically expects, it demands lower, cheaper quality products from China, because there's a massive market outside of China for their lower price to their cheaper, their poorer quality products. It's demanded in this world, and they fulfill that need. But China is also incredibly capable of creating incredibly high quality products. Think of consumer electronics, computers, mobile phones, Apple, Samsung, clothes. You have luxury goods, brands I've spoken about, Burberry, Coach, a brand of the moment, Totem, Loro Piana, Giorgio Armani. They are producing some of their products in China, and they're doing an absolutely outstanding job. The thing with China is you need to take every single brand in China on a case-by-case basis. Some brands have been there for a long time. They're hugely aspirational brands. They have massive budgets. Some brands are just incredibly experienced, and they know how to navigate China. You know what you need to know, where to look, which factories to work with, and have incredibly strict quality control, and then be continually auditing the facilities that you work with. And in turn, you're going to produce incredibly high quality products. I remember about 15 years ago being offered a AAA grade Birkin. And I showed it to a reseller in London, and she said to me, you know what, this is like for like. This is an exact Birkin. And there was a video this weekend I watched, and I tried to upload it, but Meta wouldn't allow me. I've always been able to upload videos from Instagram, but for the first time, the Chinese video I wanted, Meta blocked it. But there was a factory owner talking about an Hermès Birkin, $1,400 to produce, and it retails for $38,000. I'm going to include stills as I talk. Firstly, Hermès have told us that they produce the Birkin, the Kelly, for example, in France. So I don't know if he was claiming it's produced in China and then sent to Paris, and they claim it's their bag. But I know there are factories that have sent me personally messages stating that, you know, we create replicas of the Birkin, very good quality replicas. But the factories that are actually claiming from this weekend that they produce the Birkin, that is not correct. They are lying. Hermès have clearly stated they produce their Birkins, their Kellys, a lot of their bags in France. The issue with the Birkin for me is I think the lies about it's an entirely handmade product and it takes many days and so forth. I don't think that is accurate at all. Parts of it are machine stitched, part are hand stitched, and it actually arrives at the atelier where it's crafted already partly crafted. It may have been cut into the pieces and part of it assembled, and then it's finished off in the atelier. I have heard these stories, and I actually believe some of those stories. That is the issue to me, not the fact that it's being made in China. That's not correct. What you're getting from China is incredibly high quality copies of the Birkin, of the Kelly, many bags, Chanel, Christian Dior, a lot of the brands that were bandied about. And so it just made me realize this weekend, after listening to all of the conversations, that China has brought luxury to a crossroad. And you as a consumer have a choice to make. Do you take a sharp left and you take heed of what the factories have told you, that we are crafting the bags for a very low price and then selling them on to the brands, and they charge the massive premium. And they're telling you bypass the brands and come directly to us. What you have to be mindful of is you have varying qualities in terms of the quality, the craft of the end product, from low all the way through to high end. The Chinese government are aware of what's going on. And I guess they don't do anything because it's employing people, the nationals in China. But you do have option. If you're comfortable with that, the fact that it's a replica, a dupe of the original, then by all means, buy from factories. I know from the comment section, there are people putting together directories of where to go in China if that's the route you prefer, what you want to do, and you want to pay a fraction of what the bag is typically retailed for. It's very much a personal thing, but there are varying levels of quality. Or you can take a sharp right and keep buying the bags from the retailer, and you pay the massive premium. Because with luxury, luxury is never ever about the cost. It's about the value. It's about an identity. You're buying into whatever the brand stands for. You're buying into the set of variables, the value that's presented beyond the functionality of the bag. So think, for example, of the exclusivity, the prestige, the heritage, the brand storytelling, the customer experience, the craft, the high quality of the materials used. You're buying into all of that. That is what the premium is all about. And the more value a brand can create, the higher the price that they can charge. So you're buying into the identity, the association. And I remember one of my viewers saying, aspirational products are communication accessories. And that's okay. I just don't like the fact that a lot of people seem to think it's wrong for someone to spend a lot of money on a bag. It's your prerogative, your money, your prerogative. Do what's right for you. But at the end of the day, with luxury, it's not about the cost, it's about the value and what you're getting. And consumers should be allowed to just do what they want, what brings them joy, without being judged. And then the third option is to just proceed straight ahead. You are somebody who doesn't want to be associated with aspirational brands anymore. You're sick and tired of the conversations about the dupes, the replicas, the negative publicity. You possibly want something different. You don't want a bag that everybody knows, everybody sees, everybody aspires to. You possibly want more for your money, in which case you proceed ahead and go for the independent brands. The brands I talk about, high quality, under the radar. These brands are typically small brands. They don't have the massive budgets that the hugely aspirational brands have, and therefore they're not able to push their products. But what they really focused on is ensuring that they're using really good quality variables, the leather, the hardware, the thread. They're producing absolutely outstanding bags in terms of the craft, the innovation, the designs. The level of finish is absolutely beautiful. And they're bringing in products that are, in some cases, on par, and others even better, far superior when compared to the aspirational brands. So you have that option to now go for those brands and just forget about the aspirational brands and the hoopla around them. The choice is yours to make. But what the Chinese factories did this weekend was just to make consumers be really mindful of what's going on. Bags are being produced at a small price, being retailed for a massive premium. Are you not comfortable paying the massive premium, knowing you can buy something that is similar, varying qualities depending on your budget, but it's a dupe, it's a replica? Or you still go for aspirational brands. You're mindful of the propaganda that the Chinese are licking their wounds and they're going to say anything. Most of the brands are not even going to retaliate because they stand very tall, confidently poised in the knowledge that they have a solid product, they have the money to raise the profile and to keep selling bags. Or you could say, you know what, I'm not interested in the aspirational brands, whether it's replicas or the real McCoy, but I want to place my money in the independent brands that are producing superior quality products. I'm offering access to a lot of these brands. There are 6, 7, 8 brands at the moment in the quiet luxury space, the independent brand space, that are doing the rounds that a lot of the creators are talking about. But I'm bringing into the foray other brands that are similar and some that are even better. But the brands are really focused on absolutely outstanding products. The supply chain is very well considered in terms of the materials, how they're processed, minimal invasion to the environment, fair wages are being paid, and in turn they're creating absolutely outstanding products. But it's been an interesting weekend, a challenging weekend, a fun weekend, an argumentative weekend, but an enjoyable weekend that I hope many luxury consumers will reflect on and then make the right decision. Any thoughts, any questions, as always, let me know in the comment section down below.